Hello everyone, it's Keesje. Welcome back. Now today's project is a variant on a file folder folio. It's inspired by Wendy's journal adventure. So it starts off with a small folio, 4 pages, and it is 4 by 6. And you can store things in here, tags and cards and whatnot, and it worked fine for me until I thought I wanted more room for a certain project. So recently I made this one. This one is 5 by 7, and the pockets are a little bit bigger and a little bit wider, so I can hold items in it. This is for a particular project and it fits real well in here. I have used hanging file folders as a base and jelly prints as a paper to cover the file folder, but I like the paper to be cut just a smidgen smaller so that you can still see the outline of the file folder. And then I'm thinking I wanted to store these cards, but then more on top. So today's project is going to consist of a accordion file folder folio out of 10 pages. And I forgot to mention that this one has 6 pages and today's is going to be 10. And here on the side I have a chart. This chart is for the small folio, this one is for the medium folio, and this one is for the large folio that I will be creating today. Now if you want to take a screenshot and look this up later, then you can work with it and then look at the picture that you've taken of this. So first we're going to use a file folder as a base. I'm going to use jelly prints to cover my file folder, and I'm saving 2 pretty ones, one for the back and one for the front, and the rest is all plain backgrounds. You can also use scrapbook paper, and this is the thinner kind. Now if you use a thick scrapbook paper that is quite nice, then you don't have to cover that with paper. You can just use that as is. And for the next step, we're going to use, for the pockets, we're going to use, you can use deli paper, parchment paper, or tracing paper, because you want it to be see-through so that you can see what is in it. And the thing with parchment and deli paper is most glue, that's the note that you see over here, most glue won't hold parchment paper or deli paper. So I'm going to use my sewing machine. Here I have tracing paper. As you can see, it's denser than deli paper or parchment paper, but you can use this well, and this will hold glue. Then we have the hinges. You can use fabric, which I'm going to use. You can use cardstock or you can use Tyvek. And I've coffee dyed my hinges, and they're 2 inches wide by the length of the book, minus an 1/8. So first we're going to cut our base. I need 20 because I have 10 pages and you want them back to back so that the hinge can be caught between the 2 pages. You can get 4 large base out of 1 file folder. So I've used 5 file folders. This here is just about 8 until the fold. And don't worry about the creases over here. They will disappear behind the paper. And I cut each 5 3/4 and I keep, this is left over. So the next step is to cut our papers. I've cut my papers 5.5 by 7 3/4, which is a 1/4 less than my base cards, so that I create a little edge around it, which I really like. Here I've glued 2 to my base, and as you can see there's a nice even edge all around. Then I will add double-sided tape around the edges, and then I will glue them to the file folder. Well, here's my pile of cards, just to give it a name. And these 2 are the covers. So these 2 are now being set aside. So the next step is our pocket. So for the small one, I cut 2 1/4 and then I fold over about 1/4 inch. It gives this more strength that this is a fold here. So for the medium one, I cut 2 1/2 high and fold it over about 1/4 inch. And of course the width of your page. For today's project, I'm cutting them 1/3 inch because I only want about 1 inch. And I fold over about 1/4, between 1/4 and 3/8 inch. Then I will place them on my card. I made a template so that I can see where each pocket goes, because I want 3 pockets. And the first one will go on the bottom. The second will go 2.5 inches from the bottom. And the third will go 5 inches from the bottom. And I will attach them by sewing machine. And I will probably sew all around. I show you how I attach this before I bring this to the sewing machine, because if I don't clip them and glue them, they will slide all over the place. So I will use my template, line it up, and put a clip in it. Then I will turn everything around, move the template to the other side, and clip everything again. See, so as here, I've clipped it on an angle. So I will line this up here and readjust it on this side. I will continue clipping on this side, then flip it over again and adjust on this side. Now I'm going to glue. I'm going to use regular PVA glue. I'll add a little bit of glue here, and then I slide my finger outwards so that the excess glue goes out and not in. Otherwise my pocket would become smaller. Now this glue will only hold it in place long enough for me to go to the sewing machine and attach it. This glue is not strong enough to keep it in place with all the handling it does when you put something in and out of the pockets. It will come undone, and I will do all of them. After all the sewing, I'm ready to put it together. I've looked at my medium book to see how it goes together. So the inside pages are sets of 2. And the outside is an outside front and a back, and 2 sets of 2. So I'm going to concentrate on the inside, which is 5 sets of 2. So I'm going to place these aside. Now obviously these 2 go together, and I think I will use this one with one of the lighter ones, and I will go through my pages and see which 2 I'm going to pair up. So I group my papers together by 2s. And I need 5 for the inside and 4 sets for the outside. And I think it's interesting to have the 5 over here on the inside and the 4 that are kind of looking the same on the outside. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm not sure if I want this the first one. How about I put this one in the center? And then these 2. And then these 2. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put the sets aside except for the first one. So I need a spine in between here. So what I do is I put my spine on my silicone mat, sorry about the glare, and I will add glue to the side and put this on here. Let me do that. I'm using Aleen's Tacky glue, close to the edge. So I'm going to put this upside down, I'm going to place this on here, and because I cut it a smidgen smaller, because fabric tends to stretch a bit when you go like this. Now I'm going to place it right side up, and I push because the glue is a little bit thick. So now I'm dispersing the glue evenly there. And I'd rather not have that over there. Now I'm going to do the same with this, and have to make sure that I'm not placing this upside down. So this edge needs to be glued. Sorry, I'm out of frame. That's not cool. Now I need this to be right side up, because now I want to estimate the gap that I want in between the spines. So I'm going with about, well, between 1/8 and 1 inch and 1/4 inch, somewhat straight. And I'm going to flip it over and smooth it out a bit. And again, use the silicone mat to disperse the glue. See how it seeps out through from under there? I'll repeat this for other sets. So here you see all the sets that I made. And now I'm going to attach the sets in one long set, exactly how I was attaching these together. I was busy gluing everything together, then I thought maybe I should show you how I go about. And I've connected 3 sets, and I have to be careful and wait for the glue to dry because it was already sticking to each other. You don't need a whole long table to have everything out, so I just accordion fold everything back together. So this is my next set. I will close this, and now I know I have to glue on this side. I grab my strip of fabric, put it on there, and smooth it out so that I have evenly spaced it top and bottom. Then I will fold it onto my silicone mat, and then I press it. So that's that one. So now this set needs to be attached here, so I'll fold it over and I will put glue on this side. And I try to be careful to have at least glue on the outer edge. I line it up and flip it over. Now this is a little bit tricky because now it's going to be There's a lot. And now I'm gonna slide the fabric up, and now I'm gonna press. Okay, I will do the last one and then I will be back. So I have prepared my papers, and I've got some double-sided tape adhered to all the backs, but I will also be using glue around the edges because I don't know if the double-sided tape would actually adhere at the edge here because I have the ridge of the sewing here. So I'm going to use regular glue all around. This is my front. So this is going to go here, and then I'm going to, okay, this is the front. I have to watch what I'm doing here because then I'm going to flip this way and I will adhere each one at a time. Okay, let's take the paper off first. Now I'm going to put glue all around, basically on top of my sewing line. And now I'm going to line them up. The wet glue does need a bit of pressing for it to hold. And now I can just place the rest right here on top, just making sure that this is the top so that all the pockets go the same way. And I will continue gluing the rest together. So everything is glued together and it folds nicely. And then when you're at the back, you continue flipping. And this is the back. So, and then this is the front again. So now the only thing to do is embellish the front, like I've done over here. And I've punched out a border, and I used this punch, it's from Martha Stewart, out of file folder material. And I have this tiny little ribbon that I cut out of this paper, and this is wallpaper. This was on top of my wallpaper. It's waterproof, so I had to tear that off first. This wallpaper was in my bathroom. It's the ugliest thing. Anyway, but still, if you use a tiny little bit amount, it will work in a embellishment. And then I'm thinking of using a strip of book page like so. And this is wallpaper that I think I'm gonna place over here and maybe also under here. And then I have this bird. This one is big enough, and I thought it looked nice right over here. So I think I'm gonna stick this down like so. So I finished it, and as you can see, it's already full. I did not think I was gonna completely fill it up right away, but yes, it did. These are tea cards I made from images from garden magazines that I put on cardstock, some printouts, and these I can use to embellish something. And here's some homemade postage stamps. And it's full already. I did not think I was going to do that. So this was it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions at all, just leave a note in the comments below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!